Okay. Let's see. Everything appears to be live. Greetings, everyone. Coinstamp180 here, otherwise known as Swirling Vortex 09 on YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of Elden Ring Reforged. If you want to find out more information about the mod itself, you can type !ERR or ERRA, and it will take you to either the mod authors page, goes by the name of Kernifer, or ERR should give you a link you can follow to the Nexus mods page for the mod itself, which has links to all kinds of things, and this screen tearing is god awful. I remember having to adjust the graphics settings for this. Let's see, I think I have to... let's try this. Oh, right, I have to adjust this. Yep, let's return to the title menu really quick. How's everyone doing on this fine day? I myself am doing fine. I apologize for being late. I had a lot of stuff I was trying to get done in basically a 2-hour and 30-minute time period. I sort of failed that crunch. Just check this really quick. Make sure it's no one important. My apologies. The results of my being late. So, over that way, maybe more that way. I have a brighter room now. Which is good. Means I don't look dingy on the camera. Let me tilt this a little bit so you guys can clearly see when I'm talking to you. And that tearing is still happening. It doesn't appear to be reflected on the software end. It is quite literally just mine. So I'll try to make do. Yeah, that's not really reproducible on a hardware front. Let me try refreshing the res real quick. It's gonna look funny until I do this. Oh, that camera's weird. Okay, so let's kind of review where we were. Last time, we made our way through the beaches. Well, I'm sorry, I need to go back further than that. We went to some catacombs, met a boss we couldn't kill, moved on, eventually made our way over to the beach. We did manage to kill that boss with a little bit of help. Made our way over to the Church of Dragon Communion, and just kind of previewed that. We went back up on the road, went all the way down, proceeded to amble on for 15-20 minutes, trying to find our way to the Waypoint Ruins. It's so weird how that screen tearing is only affecting me. I can't, it's so distracting. We eventually made our way through. We fought a pumpkin head, killed it, and then finally made our way over to Sorcerer Selen, who's sold some sorceries, and now we're gonna head south. Why are we gonna head south? We're gonna head south because there's a staff over here that we need to find. This game does not sell staves until you hit until you get up to this region here. And it's a little further in than the map lets on. So, to alleviate this, that's what we're going to do. We're going to instead go someplace that's about the same level as us. Maybe a little bit stronger, but not that much stronger. Right now, we still only have our club, which we're going to two-hand, unless we need to use a torch for some reason. As of the time of this stream, it is currently patch... I want to say it's patch 1. And Miranda Bloom. I need to move. It should be patch 1.29.1. See, looking at the updates panel really quick. Nope, it's 4.29. 0.4.29. And a lot of stuff has been rebalanced and some more bugs have been added. Most notably, a lot of spells have been retuned to make up for the new defense adjustments in the mod. Heavy and charge attacks on flails have been improved. Damage types on certain things got improved. And using the wrong weapon was also on certain enemies has also been fixed. Lots of cool stuff. Things that Kernifer would have probably found on their own, but it's nice to see that this stuff gets into the playtest. And Kernifer is able to do something with it. Oh boy. Let's make our way back down. So, why are we making this mad dash for... is it just me, or did my inventory get reset? Not sure. Also, is anything on this correct? I don't know why. It just feels as though... Nope, okay, these are the same values. Not sure. For whatever reason, I felt as though the settings weren't correct and needed to check them. I do that a lot. Okay, we're going to make our way through. Kindly ignore the ballistae. Pick this up, which is a nice little key. And then make our way quickly over to the Weeping Peninsula and rest. Minding where enemies are coming from. Okay, so, Weeping Peninsula. We're here. With the Weeping Peninsula, we have a quest we can take up, and we should take it up while we're here. We're not going to touch the Weeping Peninsula in its entirety quite yet. All we are literally here for is a staff, but we should do the groundwork now.
Hello? Is somebody there? Might I bend your ear for a moment, please? My name is Irina. I've escaped from Castle Morn to the south. The servants there have rebelled. I can't be sure what it is. My eyesight's been weak since birth, you see. But I swear I heard frightful howling from all over. My good father secreted me out the castle, but decided himself to stay. He says it's his duty. As commander.
Is it now? Also, I relate to you on the weak eyesight part. I have astigmatism and I'm nearsighted, so my eyesight's pretty bad without glasses. I kind of need them to work, to function.
I fear for father's life. The servants are full of wrath, filled with hatred for every one of us. They've since come for every one of the companions I escaped with. They haven't spared a soul. I fear it's no different at Castle Morn. Please, I implore you, would you mind taking a letter to my father at the castle? My soul wishes that he escape, even if his honor should be the price. Please. I just want him to be safe.
You've got it. I wouldn't refuse this in 1,000 years.
Then please, take this. Deliver it to my father, who remains in the castle, if you please. Please,
Anything else?
if you wouldn't mind, deliver the letter to my father at the castle. He can be stubborn, but I'm sure he'll come around.
My apologies for two things. First is if you hear any clacking or sipping of cold or hot beverages, I kind of need those for my throat. Second, I apologize for panning the camera around so much. I'm kind of trying to figure out how fast or slow the camera movement has to be for the screen tearing to be visible on my end, so I know what not to do in the future. And I'm also trying out various things to sort of test that. But we heard her. Her name's Irina of Morn. A callback to Dark Souls 3. And we are supposed to head... sorry. Heading south. So that we can we could deliver this letter to her father, so that so that he knows she's all right. We're kind of just going to make a beeline for it. Yes, we could kill these dogs and these wretches. We could kill them, or the misbegotten. Excuse me, they're not wretches. That's a different enemy altogether. But the misbegotten are basically four-legged, two-winged humanoids who are really difficult to defeat in combat as a melee character. We're hoping to change this. Oh, don't you do this. There we go. And our reward was the Mighty Shot, which is good for... I want to say it's good for... Yeah, if we could substitute out the Barrage. I don't recommend it. Barrage is a lot better for applying status effects. Mighty Shot's a lot better if you're wanting to, like, poise break and use the bow for damage. Before getting that grace, we're going to talk to you first. What are you buying? What are you selling? I don't know. Let's find out. Our reward. Gear, 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 pots, stones, and sword keys. You don't really want any of this right now. We may want... Actually, I take that back. We want the Amber Medallion. The Amber Medallion is because we don't currently have anything useful right now, and getting extra health is everything. Alright, they're going to grab the map fragment first, which is just beyond the broken battlement. And then we're heading off in the western direction. Unfortunately, we do have to brave the ballistae being fired upon us. And we're going to have to brave it for more than a hot second. Not the ballistae. No, there's a giant firing a bow back there. That's what it is. It's not too bad if you know how to, you know, take cover behind big objects. Like for retrieving this golden seed, it's not too bad. It's for retrieving this map fragment that's going to be really difficult. Map fragments are always next to one of these monoliths. See how close that shot was? If we had stood there to take an item right then, we would have gotten hit and possibly killed. We're going to reset the behavior of the ballista so we can look at our map. I keep calling it a ballista. It's a giant firing a bow. I'm sorry. Alright. New map has been found. Yep, luckily for us, it doesn't cause Limgrave to be divided in half. Or, I'm sorry, it doesn't cause the map to get too big. So, our lovely staff is over here in these ruins. I'll put a marker there. And let's start making our way toward it. Best way to do that is going to be to follow the path up, through the water, over the bridge, and then somewhere along the way, we manage to make... We take a local jaunt over to the forest up north. It's not too hard. Just got to pay attention to the map details. That's all. Like this here would be our point of turning. Once we get this staff, we could probably actually begin to take on some of the threats that Elden Ring Reforged, excuse me, is going to throw in our direction. For right now, we're kind of, I wouldn't say we're powerless. What the heck's happening there? Oh, they're being shot at with a ballista, an actual one. Oh, never mind. I thought we had to go over the bridge. No, we actually don't want to go on that bridge at all. What we want to do is come through here. Ow. Man, you guys kind of suck on foot. And I'll have to get another cough drop after this as well. Let's grab these fruits. Excuse me for one moment. It's this bag. Ricola, if you ever need cough drops and you don't like all that strong menthol, I recommend Ricola. They're a little more expensive, but they are so good. I would suck on these all day long, because I kind of need the menthol for my throat, more than anything. Menthol? I need all of the strong alcohols present on cough drops in order to talk properly. Albeit I got the knot here on my cheek that does make certain things sound funny when I say them. Alright, we're gonna go and take out... We're gonna resume traveling, is what I should have said. Lumbering slow brute. Quick on your feet. Quick on your feet, yet slow on attack. What kind of a kid is that? Oh, hi there. As you can see, I'm not the best at using deflects. Come on. That was so poorly timed. Wasn't funny. I think I rushed a little bit in turning the stream on. I kind of wanted to start right at 1 since I was going to be late anyway. But I should have taken the extra second to change the stream name and title. It's going to look funny to those wanting to watch Blasphemous, which is what we were streaming Friday. But instead I'm playing Elden Ring. Hopefully that's fixed. I've already changed it during the 5-minute starting soon slate, but you never know if Twitch is going to accept these things or not, or just market the whole stream as a blasphemous stream and it's not. Oh, that has knockback frames. Good. Man, you guys are very annoying. That should totally be counting. That's weird. Am I supposed to not be able to regenerate FP while the weapon art is active? Something I'll have to make a note of and submit to Kernifer for later. Here we are, at the demi-human forest ruins. The staff that we're getting is off one of their queens. The chiefs basically have... I'm sorry, the demi-humans basically have 3 different types among them. 4 different types, excuse me. You have the small, traditional demi-human mook that has a club or sword and a shield. You have the ones that are slightly bigger that use two-handed weapons, like great clubs or great swords. Then you have the chiefs, which wield a pair of weapons. I believe they are a pair of short swords. And then you have the queens, which use magic and use staves. She's guarding such a staff. There's a queen here who is guarding one. And that is who we're getting our lovely little upgrade from. We're probably going to have to summon help, though, or we're going to have problems. See, right here? Came right in through the front door. Are gonna already have to summon help. We're going to kind of let them distract for us. But I think the queen is aggroed on me right now. The queen is doing a good job of protecting her subjects. Yeah, and she'll fire magical shots, and I believe she'll also fire like a scatter shot of magic as well. Okay, we're gonna drink up and quickly try to get some form of... We actually might want to back off, get behind some kind of wall, and quickly map our arrows to it. It's not going to be safe to attack her at all times either. Oh, you took out your own men. Smart. And that range is small. That really hurt. We need to equip the other arrows so that we have something serviceable. Come on, then. And there's a bit of an arc. Oh, boy. That was close. Gotta be careful. I don't think I have anything I could do about this. No, I don't. Man, knocking over trees in your wake? That's just the arterial leaf. And I'm dead. Unfortunately, the drop is on her. So we have to kind of like get her souls and basically more or less reset the area. Where's the stake gonna take us? Remember what I said about stakes, folks. Don't always take stakes if you don't know where they're gonna put you. Like here. That short bow doesn't have its range reduction listed in the text. I wonder why. Short bows do have slightly reduced range in this mod. In exchange for a faster fire rate. Unfortunately, that change is not listed, so I don't know how to adjust for its reduced range yet. I kind of have to fiddle around with it and see what happens. Alright, now, are you... I actually think we're going to have to kind of get out of here and maybe go hunting. We should go hunting. Okay. I heard more of them. We're in combat right now. But we know where we need to go. We just kind of have to make our way to that point. Picking up all kinds of goodies. For right now, let's head back to the first step. And get some bones and some feathers. We're gonna need those. Is it just me, or is resting at the grace site adjusting the... No, it's whenever you travel from one point to another. Oh. Does the behavior for moving time forward also extend to fast traveling? That's actually pretty cool. We're going to pass the time until morning. We don't want to run into any nighttime encounters yet. We want to wait till we have that staff. So, we sort of have an AMA time on our hands. What would you guys like to talk about? I mean, I'm going to keep going with things I want to talk about, but I'm ready to interrupt if necessary and answer questions. I also want to not use up too many arrows going hunting. Kind of need those. But, one of the nice things about this mod is that everything that could be adjusted for convenience is either being discussed, has already been arranged. Wow, is this super short? Yeah, that's really short. You almost have to be right up on them. Even though the flight range, or the range is not indicated on the item's description or tooltips. That needs to be changed as soon as Kernifer finds it convenient to do so. But it is, however, a relatively fast fire rate. I mean, this turns the short bow into sort of a shotgun, but it could be worse, I suppose. Damage is much better in the long term, and I could probably knock off about 4 or 5 different arrows in that short space of time. My gut's telling me I'm probably going to prefer longbows for this sort of playthrough. If there's one thing you can take away about me, is that I really like that 5-letter R word. I like having range, space. I like having space to move on my own without issue. We have 10 bones. Let's go ahead and crank out some more arrows. Don't worry, we're getting close to the point where we should be making more fire arrows. We want to have at least 20 of them on us at all times. I kind of like to have a stock of every single arrow that I can, every single arrow type that I can. If I opted for crossbows on that playthrough, you know, obviously it's bolts instead of arrows, but we're going to use bows this playthrough, I think. We don't want to be attacking him. We want to be ignoring him. We also have 6k souls, or runes, which we should probably spend. Wow, that is really short. That is really short. I'm so taken aback by how short that is. Sorry, I'll find something else to talk about. Or, you know, I could scare off my quarry. That can also happen. Hunting is one of those things that... This is the equivalent of grinding in most, like, ARPGs or JRPGs, where the grind is... A good grind is a relaxing one. It's not too stressful. It could be tedious, but it doesn't have to be unfun either. The grinding in Elden Ring is something that I would refer to as somewhere on that border between tedious and manageable versus tedious and fun. Where it kind of sits more in the tedious and manageable section. It's not bad. It just takes a lot of time to do. And I know, we're looking for bones, and yet here I am collecting pinions. But we need a good stable supply of both, in order to craft a lot of arrows. And I'm gonna need to stay at range for that fight as well. I really do not want to be entertaining the possibility of fighting in melee against a spellcaster that has access to a cone. If it were a bunch of lines or blasts, I could probably take them out with the club as long as I'm paying attention. And no ads decide to show up. Unfortunately, the demi-human queen is not one of those kinds of casters. She's got access to a shotgun cone, and that means paying attention and not getting too close. You can outspace the shotgun cone. I guess you can also get behind it, but then she gets a lot more threatening up close. I don't particularly like that. Excuse me. Fortunately, one side effect of cough drops is they skew your sense of taste. They got sugar in them for the flavoring, and I have some cheer wine off to my right, which sometimes helps with mucosal drip, and sometimes it doesn't. This is one of those times where it kind of does, but I'm still kind of nasally. And, unfortunately, cheerwine's supposed to have a cherry flavor, and it's kind of more of a muted flavor than anything. Oh well, that screen tearing is so bad. I should stop commenting about that. I keep saying it, and yet I never stop talking about it. It's bad. It's really bad. But as long as you guys aren't seeing it, I'll kind of power through and try to do something about that on my own time. Hopefully there are frames a whole bunch. Are we actually? We're still live. Yeah, but that rate has definitely slowed down and is kind of all over the place. I don't want to be here when the... Okay. I don't want to be here trying to dodge the guardian over there. I was about to say archer, I think. It's not drop... Oh, there are some drop frames. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. A lot of dropped frames. Well, 800 of them. They're probably going to be more due to the way the data's being handled right now. It really sucks. I mean, I have it all set up to be wired through voice meter, but the V-band kind of makes it a moot point because it's using my internet, which I kind of need the stream to use and not voice meter. I don't know if I need to route it back through the card in order for the card to pick it all up or what. I'm really not sure. I'm not great at this sort of thing. I'm really not. But I'm gonna fix it so that it doesn't happen. Also, I have a data cap on my internet, and it would be super nice if I didn't have to worry about running into it every single time something goes wrong. I hate that. I hate it. It sucks. But you guys didn't come here to listen to me complain, did you? We're all human. We all complain, but that's the thing. Complaining is an inherently depressing action. It doesn't cause depression, but it does make people sad. Or just feel emotional weight and baggage that they're not interested in at the moment. Because, American escapism is dead. And giant. Awesome. I kind of don't need you on my butt right now, Giant. Oh, Christ have mercy. Let's get back up to the first step. The honey ones or the normal ones are perfectly fine. Do I need to talk to you?
This tiny golden aura is the grace of the Earth Tree. This light once shone in the eyes of your tarnished brethren, but now it is all that guides you. Also, I hear you can see them, can't you? The rays of grace that guide you through your burden. Upon the cliff in Castle Stormvale is a shard bearer, a demigod, who inherited a fragment of the shattered Elden ring. If the rays of grace signal the castle, then the Elden ring beckons you. As an ally by pact, I pray that you are fit to face the challenge presented by the ring. Upon the cliff, a demigod. If the
Okay.
rays in the Elden
Yep,
has
I
an
gotcha.
ally, I pray that you
Shard
face
bearer,
the challenge.
and you hope we're fit to face the challenge. All that fun stuff. Alright, you might as well... Yeah, I know. You might as well... What? What? Wait, this costs 0 slots? Why didn't I pay attention to this? This costs no slots. I got an extra slot. I know, I can't use it. That's freaking awesome. I am amazed at what kind of cost or what kinds of things Kernifer is able to do with script. Even with as limited as Kernifer is, being able to get this to cost nothing is unheard of in Dark Souls tech. Ever. And FromSoft series. Something costing nothing is something I've only really ever seen in Sekiro, and still, the resource cost for that nothing was your health. That's pretty cool. Alright, so can we craft more of these? Yes. 214 of 250. Yeah, we still have a little bit more hunting we need to do. I'm not sure I like how short the short bow is, but I understand why it is this short. Because it is powerful. Because all you need to do with it is get up real close, use your barrage weapon art, and presto. Instant 250 damage in a second. In exchange for some stamina and some FP. That's a good bargain. I don't mind. I guess I don't mind it. It's just because I'm such a big... It's because I like range in my builds so much. When I played Dark Souls 3, the number one school of magic that I tended to frequent were dark sorceries. There aren't hexes in that game, but I think dark magic is prevalent enough to be its own school. The dark spells span all 3 disciplines in Dark Souls 3. And the spell that I really liked out of all of them was Great Soul Dregs. GSD. GSD, for short, had the longest range of any spell in the game. Not even Crystal Soul Spear had that much range. And Great Soul Dregs also homed in on the enemy. It was a good spell. But it was slow. Slow to cast. It was a big, giant ball of dark energy that homed in on faraway targets. I routinely practiced aiming my GSDs with binoculars. I used binoculars to confirm distant targets with it, and that was how I was able to sort of accomplish some of the tech that I came up with in the Dark Spells NG plus no hit. Was just learning the ranges of all your spells and knowing what you can and can't do. But as if you're playing with dark spells, you really don't want to be up close unless you don't have a choice. Sometimes the boss fights didn't really give you much of a choice. And other times, the boss fights did give you a lot of choice, but maybe the range ended up not mattering. It's kind of hard to say at this point. I'd have to go back and review old footage, or... Oh, hi. You're getting clubbed over the head. Excrement. Gold-tinged excrement tends to be found over near turtles and bears. Both of those kinds of creatures tend to be, I wouldn't say surrounded by it. They're not always surrounded by gold-tinged excrement. But if you see a turtle in a forest or you see a bear, good chances are that forest has some root resin and gold-tinged excrement nearby. And gold-tinged excrement is used for a lot of stuff. A lot of later on stuff. Because supposedly the gold-tinged part refers to the content of the excrement itself, which probably contained a lot of earthly flowers or other sacred things that contained grace. I think if I go and look at the crafting material, it might say more. Someone's excrement. Oh, I guess it could be anyone's. Has a golden tinge. Material used for crafting items, often hidden in woods and thickets. Gold-tinged excrement is a highly stable substance. It doesn't dry out, nor does it lose its customary warmth or scent. Yay. For better or for worse, it remains as it is. I think it has something to do with the earthly flower content, personally, but I'll leave it well enough alone. Take your big sword and take a hike. You're not needed. Also, why are you using a torch? It's a daytime. Yes, the tree cover is kind of dark, but what the heck? That's weird. Yeah, that's fast. That's really fast. I remember you still kind of had to wait on the short bow. Yes, it was faster in vanilla, but it wasn't that fast. That's really cool. Let's see. How many bones? This should put us over the maximum. This should put us over the maximum. Alright. We have all the tools we need. Let's try this again with 250 arrows. We should also spend our runes so we don't have to keep spending them. How do we want to spend them, though? Trade again? Yes, I'll trade again. I don't feel comfortable buying that stock, however. Not yet. And don't mind the timer. I have a timer. I have 2 timers running right now. One is to remind me to take a drink every half hour. The other is to let you guys know that during the fight, during boss fights and stuff, I'm not going to be able to talk that much. I have to stay focused. Boss fights are intense.
Me? I'm searching for my purpose, given to me by my mother inside the Earth Tree, long ago, for the reason that I yet live. burned and bodiless. There is something for which I must apologize. I've acted the finger maiden, yet can offer no guidance. I am no maiden. My purpose was long ago lost.
Okay. Yeah, watch that statement. Look for it to appear again. I must apologize for something. Or she'll go on to talk about something and then say she's sorry. It'll happen I wouldn't say many times, but it will definitely happen at least 1 or 2 more times before the playthrough is over. It's very telling as to what was supposed to happen to you, but didn't, for one reason or another. Okay, let's level up.
Let my hand share them with me. Your thoughts.
Okay. We don't need to put points in... Well, actually we do need to put some points in intelligence if we would like to use our spells. Let's take a look so we aren't wasting points. So, 12, 13. We need at least 3 points. So, how do I want to do this? How many points do we have? 10. Okay. 10's easy to work with. We don't have anything that requires faith, so I'm not going to worry about it yet. We do, however, have stuff that deals with Arcane will raise our item discovery, so it's good for that. Let's put 1 point each into Vigor, Mind, and Endurance, and 1 point into Dexterity. This will let us use our bow slightly better. We will have slightly more FP, slightly more equip load, slightly more stamina, slightly more health, and a little bit more item discovery. I think I might have said that twice, actually. Now we should be able to use the spells as soon as we get a staff. We're a tiny bit better equipped for the damage ahead, for the trial ahead. So now let's go take out a queen, shall we? If you need Torrent to temporarily move faster, all you have to do is press your dodge button and Torrent will gallop faster for about 3 seconds. Just a little over 3 or 4 seconds. Which should be more than enough time for you to get out of the way. Sometimes, though, the correct answer is actually to slow Torrent down and make him come to a stop. What is that? What happened? Okay. Oh, I know what's happening. The demi-humans are using magic to transform themselves into trees. Okay. Yeah, I'm messing this up really bad. Knock it off. And jumping isn't always the right answer either. Good. I was wondering whether I was going to get flasks for that. Jeez. Thank you. Thank you so much, Stream Elements bot, chat bot. And my drink will be short-lived. What, no flask for that? I guess not. Kind of have to be careful. Also, we know where we're going. We can remove this now. Yeah, I suppose I could show this off. You can place 5 beacons. These beacons serve as additional waypoint markers. I recommend using them to your advantage. If you are following an item guide, or you happen to want to see a particular point, yes, particular point on your map, these beacons will stay until you get right up on their position, and then they'll dissipate automatically. However, there's another system, markers. If I wanted to place a marker for anything right now on the map, let's see, I have some treasure that I kind of want to come back to later. I can put a marker there. There are 13 markers. You can remove all your markers at any time. I don't recommend removing them that way once you start placing them, unless you just don't want any markers on your map, in which case, why would you ever use the system? I recommend placing markers for things like for walking mausoleums, or for portals that you find, or for trapped chests, and other sorts of things of that nature. Things that have a fixed position, yet you want to know where they are. This is true whether we're talking about this sort of portion of the map where it's not visible yet, or for when it's clearly visible. You don't need your map revealed to place markers on it. I recommend getting used to both markers and beacons. You can zoom in or out with your right stick. There's probably an equivalent function for keyboard. If you ever get confused with the controls, there should be something that allows you to get those controls so you can use them. And you can actually pull up like a fast travel menu, and you can sort of toggle the list of things you'd like to do. You can mark Site of Grace, and then it'll appear here. It's actually really cool. It's a very nice touch. I like that. I don't think that was there in the beginning. I very much think that happened later, but I also didn't fiddle around with the map too much to begin with. You know how it is. You want a first playthrough experience. You don't want to be opening your map every 15 minutes or every 5 minutes trying to look for something. You want to just see what you can see with your own eyes. Other Dark Souls titles didn't have a map, so you couldn't really ever experience those logistics and those issues for yourself. We're going to go around. We're going to be smarter this time. So, you know how you guys saw or heard them transforming out from plants? They were plants, and then they stopped being plants? Yeah, they are positioned everywhere. I don't think this is the right place. Yeah, I definitely don't think it's the right place. I'll go ahead and chug another one here. And keep moving. And is that a chief? That's a chief. As long as you stay focused, fighting the chiefs with a bow isn't that bad. Well, with a short bow, I don't know how that is with a long bow yet. And are those shots restoring FP? I think those shots are restoring FP. I'll have to pay better attention next time. But I'm fairly sure I just saw the FP ticking up. That's really cool. It's nice. That means bow users aren't don't have to chug flasks like they're extremely thirsty all the time. That's really good. Kernifer has outdone themselves. I think Queenie heard me. Oh yeah, Queenie definitely heard me. Oh, that's not good. Oh yeah, I'm getting mobbed. That's one of the things you have to keep in mind with demi-humans, is that they will use swarm tactics. So you really have to pay attention and not let yourself get swarmed or be backed off to a cliff. And you can't let the queen get too close to you. Nice. You hit your own. And she'll just sit there and spam spells at you. We need to continue killing the little demi-humans. We're not quite done having to manage crowds yet. Think that might be the last one. I can't tell. No. Okay, I think that's it. That's it. Yeah, see, this is what happens when you let her get too close. That was close. Oh, I almost rolled into that. Oh. Yeah, another hit from that will kill me. I cannot get that close. Really? Really? She... I have to remember that sometimes bosses just get an upper hand over you. Sometimes bosses just get an upper hand over you, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to let them have that upper hand. I also have to not get hit. Oh, that one has more souls. Awesome. Okay. You can stop yelling now. We're gonna keep going until we get that staff. I will take as many hunting trips as I need to for that. If I could kill small beasts on the way with something other than my bow, that would be a good idea. And it is currently nighttime. I don't think there are any nighttime encounters, but you never know. Alright, let's try to spare our bow a little bit. So, how are you guys holding up? It's been an hour. Hopefully you guys are doing okay. Or do we have regenerating FP still? I think we... Yeah, it's slower, but we have it. Right, I'm remembering that I think the cap or maximum with like 99 mind is like 5 a second or something like that. So the fact that we only have 11, yeah, you're not going to get nearly as much FP regen. Early game for mage characters is kind of bad. But in exchange, you get a pretty awesome late game. That's how it's always been in Dark Souls. With the exception of specific magical builds in 1, 2, and 3. Some of them just have an all-around fantastic time. Dark Souls 3, Pyromancy. Pyromancer worked until, like, I think a good chunk of the late game, where stuff was fire resistant or straight up immune, but that was the exception, not the norm. You can also wait and try to draw, like, a counterattack on them. Yeah, I don't like that style of attack for bows because it's risky. But now that I think on it, since thrusting attacks, which bows are technically thrusting attacks, the arrows have thrust damage type, they benefit from increased counter damage, which if you wait until an enemy starts attacking before pulling the string back for your attack, you'll have higher damage. I need another cough drop. Excuse me. I'm starting to get stuffy without it. Alright. So, as I was saying, the counter go playstyle, counter damage, roll away, counter damage, roll away style of shooting bows isn't really my cup of tea, but I know how to do it. It's just dicey. If you're not like, if you're kind of just getting started on using bows, you're not familiar with what the gaps in, the bow's reloading or draw timer are like. Let's check around back. Before continuing onward. One of these sides definitely has some demi-humans lying in wait for an ambush. I believe it is... Nope, it's not this side. Or maybe it is. And that was an owl. Owls always drop eggs. I think they sometimes drop pinions, but almost all of them drop eggs. Slumbering egg is prized as a symbol of the most sublime slumber. I think these are used for soporific stuff, things that cause sleep. Alright, I think my cover has more or less been blown. Or not. Ooh, that's awesome. Our cover hasn't been blown yet. Oh yeah, look at that arc. That's how you know that the bow range has been shortened again. And severely shortened at that. Okay. We're kind of trying to take them out so we don't have that much to worry about in terms of taking on the queen. I want as much of my flasks available as possible for dealing with the queen herself. I don't want to have to sort of waste time trying to figure out what I need to do in terms of keeping both the queen and her little minions busy. Yeah, normally, like, you could use the short bow to sort of lure them out. I don't even get that option with this now. It's too close. See if I could get the queen to sort of go somewhere else. Maybe this bush back here. Or not. Yeah, my cover's blown now. Need to watch her. Oh, that was close. If I keep this tree between me and her, that'll be good. Oh, yeah. Nice. And that tree is gone. And she's moved out of that little pit of flame. This is a much better test of endurance. Yep, nope, that cone. And that's the... You kind of... okay, there is a difference. When she holds that rod over her left shoulder, she's getting ready for a cone attack. Whereas if she's just holding the rod straight when she gets ready to fire it, then that's how you know she's getting ready to... go for... Oh, and no. Nice. Take another drink. Going for the kill. And I completely miss. Awesome. Alright, where were we, Queenie? That still managed to hit me. And she'll occasionally dodge shots, too. Nice. Not nice. Why did you suddenly stop attacking? Wow. I'm trying not to have my commentary be a bunch of grunting and groaning, but it's not the easiest thing in the world. Yeah, not easy at all. Thank you. I only had to burn off half my arrows, but our reward was twofold, a spell and her staff. E, C, and D. So putting points on Arcane does help this staff a little bit. But most importantly, we got it. Got the staff. And it only took me a solid 10 minutes of constantly running away and kiting her. Glintstone's staff, styled as a scepter. A gift once given to the demi-humans to foster peace, it can be wielded even by those of low intelligence, sneered at by fools in the academy. And most staves don't have a skill on them. This is to facilitate certain other skills being on the staff, of which there are really only a few that can be put on the staff before there are really only a few eligible skills to begin with. I would have lost out on 50 or 1900 or runes. 1900 runes. I misspeak a lot. Is that obvious enough for everyone? I speak way faster than I can think. And that results in me doubling back over so many sentences. Now that we have our staff and we have it equipped, we don't really need our bow anymore. We can replace it. And we can actually just start exploring Limgrave properly the way it was meant to be explored. First things first, we're going to settle a score. How's that sound? We are totally going back to the catacombs and taking our vengeance upon that boss, which I believe either has gear or spirit ashes waiting for us. Only those 2 spirit ashes, so I'm looking forward to another one. And of course, well, actually, we should probably test our stuff before just using it, huh? And we should go back and totally attune the other spell. See how much less damage some spells do. Ah, right. Crystal Burst requires 18 and and it's not that good. It's better on large bosses than it is small bosses. Granted, this boss is not small, but I still don't think it's that good to use. So let's see what our pebble looks like. Oh, wow. And that range is very small. How about that Glintstone Arc? I do not believe you can hold the charge on that. Yeah, super short range in exchange for basically being a melee attack. It's not all bad. Could be worse. Oh. What's that? Ah, so the magic defense debuff is gone. That doesn't, it doesn't work like I think it does. See, this is a case of the changelog not being accurate, which is fine. Kernifer has a bunch on their plate. A lot more important things than the changelog, which is why I will probably repeatedly stress that Kernifer needs help, needs assistance, needs a group behind them. That way other people can be addressing the changelog while Kernifer works on balance stuff. The mod's not is not that small anymore. Can't just we're going to put 2 flasks into this. And I'm not sure what the new form of FP management will be. I wonder if I'm going to need to strike some kind of balance between casting the pebble and getting really close, or being able to spam arc. I think because of the low mind right now, we're kind of forced to play this delicate balancing act. We already have that. We already have this. We've already allocated the charges. Let's pass the time to morning. Because we're still not really ready for nighttime stuff yet. We need to have a little more power first. All right, let's go take out a Stone Guardian. I'll get the name as soon as we step across that gate. I still do not spend souls. Never mind. I have this happen to me all the time. I think I'm good, and then I forget to do something. That something being emptying out the pot on souls or runes. We're going to do that a lot as well. Alright, let's level up. Let's put a point in Vigor, Mind, Endurance, and one more in Intelligence. Casting speed's not something we can really afford to be concerned with yet. I want to wait until we have 20 Vigor before getting concerned about it. I'd rather have Mind over the casting speed. Alright, I'll see you guys on the other side of this fight. Wow, you really don't mess around, do you? If Pebble is supposed to be this FP regenerating spell, what happens to the like of the glintstone darts? That's right. Buff your silly weapon. Oh, I almost got trapped into the corner. You and I can do this song and dance all day, Watchdog. You eventually have got to get tired of this. Okay. Wait, let him speed up. Perfect. Well, well, well. And our reward is ashes. Awesome. Those are totally worth the cost of, basically having to do a 30-minute run around. At least we're able to complete the fight now. At least now we're actually able to do something more than club people over the head. We probably still need a club just in case something arises and we actually run out of FP. Also, we totally need to put back our flasks and then these raisins. This, quick, like, hotbar that scrolls. We are definitely going to run out of places to put things on this. I recommend not filling it up completely. I recommend leaving about a 4 to 5 slot gap based on what you're currently doing at the time. I recommend taking your raisins off the bar if you're fighting something. Don't be like me. Don't keep the raisins on the bar. They don't do anything for you. We're going to put another point into arcane and then another point into intelligence. Let's see. For now, we're going to make our way back over to the merchant. And then I'm going to turn you guys, not over anywhere. I shouldn't have even led with that. Instead, what I'm going to say is we're going to take our scheduled intermission. I'm going to try to do these in the middle of the stream for my own health, rather than after 2 hours of sitting. Please use this time to stretch, get a drink, get a snack, do whatever you want, really. And I will see you guys in approximately 10 minutes. I am back. My apologies about that. Took me a little longer than I expected to get finished with what I was doing. Let me just move this so that the controller doesn't shut off. How are you guys doing? Did you guys enjoy your intermission? I did. I definitely did. I'm still experimenting with a few things, by the way. I'm not entirely sold on my webcam position, for example. So I'll kind of show you where it's supposed to sit. See that corner of my HP Omen? It's supposed to sit on top of that little corner and stare at me. And every time I jostle the desk for any reason, I'm always afraid this thing's gonna fall over. But if I put it in front of my gaming monitor, then I look away from you, or away from the camera when I want to talk to you. If I put it over here, then you're getting a side view. Let me actually show you this instead of just talking about it. If I place my camera kind of up here and tilt this way, you get a side view of me. And that's not very flattering, neither for me or for you. So it kind of goes up here for the time being, where it can flatter me and kind of look okay. You guys can't really see too much of my room other than that. We've already kind of spent entirely too long on the intermission screen, so let's get back to it. We're at Kale's little place. What we kind of want to do now is start actually exploring all of the little catacombs and nooks and crannies that are on display. Hopefully the camera and the graphical display does not glitch out on your end. I'm thankful the screen tearing is just on mine. So, Glintstone Arc, a multi-target spell used for single-target purposes. Why not? It's a different take. I'm used to the magical debuffs, but you know what? If I'm being perfectly honest, I sort of like it, and I sort of don't. On one hand, I don't like having to toggle between spells for different... just to be able to play the game normally. On the other hand, I kind of have to do this anyway later on and not regenerate any FP whatsoever. So, what's the difference? I don't like the feel, but it's really no different than what I was already doing. And with this, you never run out of FP, ever. You literally regenerate FP faster than you can cast it, faster than you can use it. At this level of dexterity anyway, and this level of casting speed. I don't know if that's going to change with as my FP pool gets bigger and as the spells start costing more FP to use. As far as I know, you still technically have FP that's close to 1,000 on startup. So you're kind of expected to spend and rebuild every so often. It's interesting. It gives spellcasters and archers a way of constantly using their weapon arts and spells without ever needing a flask. The only time you need a flask is if you need a really damaging spell right now. Like the boss is getting ready to enrage or something, and you kind of don't have the time to sit around and wait for your FP to regenerate between casts. It's such a shame that the spell ranges are the trade-off, because I much prefer having range. But we're making our way over to this catacomb that I know is here, or cave, excuse me. Yeah, literally stamina becomes your limiting factor when we're spells. It's really, I don't know. For now, until I see it in action some more. It's kind of dark, so we're gonna need a torch. And really, we can trade the positions of these things and put a torch in our offhand. There we go. The trade-off is that, of course, we now have something in our offhand that doesn't block, and it kind of messes with certain aspects of targeting or the way the visuals work. But I'd rather be able to see and target than, you know, whatever flickering of the flame might mess with the targeting or whatever. Not sure. I'm probably imagining that effect, by the way. It's probably not something the flame really does. Well, hi there. And Glintstone Arc is a really good spell for this, by the way. Yeah, I don't think sorcery has ever had an easier start. If you're an astrologer, you already start with these two spells. And given the changes to Glintstone Pebble and ERR, if you literally need FP, you could spam a few Glintstone Pebbles and follow with a Glintstone Arc, and you'll just have passive cleave on the whole time. It kind of reminds me of when I was playing World of Warcraft majorly as a raider, and I took to maining an Elemental Shaman, where the Elemental Shaman had Chain Lightning and Earthquake for passive cleave, and Flame Shock for constant dots, but you still wanted to do more damage to the single target you were cleaving off of than just spamming AoEs and hoping for the best. As much as I loved spamming Chain Lightning and watching it replicate itself over and over and over again, it's a very droll playstyle. It's very spammy. It had no depth. Had no depth to it. I miss World of Warcraft. I know. It's missing MMOs, but what you guys might not know about me is that I had some of the best and worst relationships in my entire life through that MMO. I dealt with people who were really nice and sweet and never wished the world wrong, and complete and utter, pardon my French, assholes. Jerks. And no, it's not literally French either. That's the expression. Please excuse my French. But it's not any different than being in a town or city. You kind of get the best and worst in people, but I suppose the difference is that you're kind of shielded behind a screen in an MMO. So like the worst you could do is say something awful and maybe grief people in the game. Whereas if you're an insidiously evil person in real life, or you just don't care about other people, there's a lot more ramifications that can happen as a result of being nasty to people. People will actually become more aware of you in real life and start shunning you for stuff like that. But I still wouldn't trade the experience I got in World of Warcraft for anything else. It really shaped my personality from the time I started playing at 14 until the time I stopped playing at 23. Or 24, excuse me. That's when I really just had to stop. Like, circumstances forced the stop. Oh, that has no stagger. – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – – You just have to be patient. Just run. You don't need to dodge. You can just quite literally run. And it's way better than dodging, because you can literally stop and start your casts based on it. I bet you there's a phase 2. Farum-Azula, Beastman of Farum-Azula did not have a phase 2 in base ER. I'm betting that's changed now. And I just don't know when that breakpoint is. And if not, okay, congratulations. You have an easy way. Oh god. You have an easy way to beat him as a sorcerer. Or an astrologer, excuse me. 1, 2, 3. For your 4th strike? No, doesn't appear so. Yeah, if you stay a certain distance, you can manipulate his AI very easily. There we go. Keep doing that attack, please. And that was kind of my bad. I kind of had to wait. So one thing I've already noticed with this, with the way that spells work now, and nice 3-hit combo, is that with this, you never want to actually spend your FP so low that you can't cast one of your regenerators. Nice. I hope no one could pick up on that vacuum in the background, but you never know. Alright, we've made our way out of here. I don't think there were any hidden walls or anything of the sort, so let's just return to the entrance. We're making good record time on our discoveries now. I'm gonna go grab the tea that I had started to make while we were coming back and reviewing certain things. One moment, please. My apologies. Just cleaning up the, bags. No, there are way more cough drops than that in there. I just probably didn't want the bags showing on camera. Not that I think you guys could see it, but still. It never hurts to clean up and do your share, for those who get the reference. It never hurts to clean up your space as you notice the trash kind of accumulating. Alright, next up on our list, before anything else, we're going to take care of a little pesky pest. Pesky pest. Wow. Alliterative and just not good commentary. Yeah, we're going to make our way to the Gatefront Ruins and actually explore everything that's in it now. We couldn't really do it before. We can do it now. This cave, I'm going to come back to when we get ready to explore, I know there was the name for this, Agil Lake. Agil Lake, that's going to be when we have a few more tools up our sleeve. Because boy, is there something dangerous on this road, and boy, will it require some strategy and some preparation. Not ready for that yet. But our interactions with a certain man do require that we do this. Oh my god. Easy. Easy clap. Easy clap. Excuse me. And bats. Thank you, streambot, chatbot. I'm gonna totally take a drink of water in like a second. Oh, that's bad. And, nah, it's gonna be 2 more now. One of the nice things about Glintstone Arc is that you can use it on sidesteppers as well. Someone thinking about getting ahead of you or trying to roll around you, fire off a Glintstone Arc. You might just be surprised how much it'll actually catch them. Granted, the correct action with Glintstone Arc is to dodge forward rather than roll to the side. But anyone trying to like sprint around is going to be eating an arc to the face. We're going to go ahead and rest here. Because it's nighttime, we're going to keep our torch out. Unlike Dark Souls 3, unlike Dark Souls 3, or 2 even, you didn't need a torch in Dark Souls 3, it was kind of really bright. But in Dark Souls 2, torch used to be something that had a timer, and there were finite resources or finite torches in the world. I'm glad that's gone, and instead we could use a torch as a light source as it was actually intended. That was just needlessly obtuse design. Not that Dark Souls isn't known for its obtuse designs. Dark Souls, not that FromSoft isn't known for purposefully obtuse game design, but some things should just not have been implemented at all, and the torch timer was one of them. I didn't mind torches having a timer, but I understand why it should not have been implemented at all. It puts an inherent time crunch on the player when you could already put that time crunch on them through the use of, say, let's crouch, put away the torch, put back on the torch, and give like an enemy gauntlet that they don't want to fight through. That's a much better way to actually force a non-timed timed crunch, where someone feels as though time is not really on their side, but they can take as much time as they need. See the difference? Oh wow. Going to go ahead and I probably better back you up a little bit. That situation would have absolutely forced a flask out of us. This is, I feel it's broken, but it's not. Because it's Elden Ring Reforged. That's its whole purpose, is to literally increase the quality of life of the game. Which this does, by leaps, bounds, and miles. Not having flasks feel mandatory is a really good step in the right direction. Even though I feel this is almost a convergence level change. Where like, it questions the design intention of the game in the first place, rather than respecting the game's clunky original intent. But I like it. I really do. No matter how much I question it, I like it a lot. We're gonna make our way down here, which we've already opened. Sometimes you just have to check locations more than once. And Knight has made his way to us. You really think that sidestep is gonna help you? It's not. And that shield isn't really gonna help you either. I say, as I almost bit the bullet for such trash talk. Okay. Gonna check our 6. We're good. That's right. You be aggressive. You be aggressive and see where that gets you. I do this a lot, where does anyone else talk to their games like I do? I talk to my games a lot. I don't treat them like they're people, per se, but it kind of... Talking to them like that sort of helps me stay in focus. Because I'm constantly looking out for the... What was that? I'm not sure what that was. Was that dropped? Yeah, more dropped frames. Awesome. I love drop frames. I love cheap thrills too, but I especially love dropped frames. I don't love dropped frames, by the way. I'm just saying that. Come on. Use your shield. I dare you. Oh, wait. He never got the chance. He never got... And I thought I heard someone else. Yeah. This feels so broke. But it's not. It's not broken at all. It's just... Kernifer does such good work with Elden Ring. I rolled into that. I guess I just didn't roll into it at the right angle to break it. There we go. We broke their poise. And we've managed to recharge our FP. Who even needs a flask? Who even needs flasks? I'm joking. There are going to be times where I want to just straight up push for Glintstone Arc. And that's going to be when I want flasks. What's everyone thinking about in terms of what they see? Do they like the changes in Elden Ring Reforged so far? Not really care for them? Wish they could just have to deflect and leave everything else as is? There are some purists out there who think that the game is perfect exactly as it is, and I don't fault you one bit. I thought the game was perfect too. And then as I started playing, I realized that I sort of had blinders on and didn't really critically look at the game the way I should have. And that's not okay. Healthy looks at games would have absolutely caught some of the most glaring aspects for which Elden Ring Reforged was probably made to address. The only thing I don't think Elden Ring Reforged is currently touching right now is Torrent himself, and of course, like, map placements, and etc., etc. Kernifer is only now messing around with with rest site placements, or adding new ones entirely. I know there are a couple that have been added in the last 4 patches, but I don't know if we're going to see those before we... Wow, I completely blanked on what it is I wanted to say. I'm not sure we're going to see those changes until we actually beat Godfrey. Godric, excuse me. Until we defeat Godric, we're not going to see these. Most of the changes are, like, up here. Agil Lake was probably the only one who's had a rest site change that we could maybe actually see sometime in the next couple of episodes. What are we doing right now, though? So, we have a couple of choices. We can go past Gatefront, or what my preference probably is to head east. Why east, you might ask? Because heading east will let us access Eastern Limgrave, which has a useful tool. A really useful tool. Something that I think we probably need before taking on Stormvale Castle. And for that, we're going to need to head over through this path here. But we might as well explore everything along the way, right? By the way, I'm fairly sure Gatefront Ruins didn't have anything else going for it. Like, at all. So we're free to explore up here. Is it late night? It's nighttime. Alright, we might be able to catch a nighttime boss. And we've actually got the tools to deal with this one. There are two kinds of nighttime I'm sorry, three kinds of nighttime bosses. Is that a Fulgur Bloom? Random lightning strikes? Yeah, this is a Fulgur Bloom patch. Might as well pick it up. It's not going to stop it from storming, though. And is that a giant that aggroed just now? How dare you? Alright, Ryder. Come on. Yeah, that hit Torrent for a good amount. And unfortunately, Glintstone Arc on horseback is not super great. It works as long as you're paying attention, but horses can pretty routinely sidestep. I need a flask. Awesome. Horses pretty routinely sidestep the Glintstone Arc. Big guy, give it up. You're not gonna stand much of a chance against this setup. We got our flasks back for the trouble as well, which is always nice. I believe somewhere over this way should be a Deathrite bird. One of the nighttime bosses that you can Wow, I was about to make a redundant sentence. Yeah, it's a nighttime boss, which means you can only fight them at night. Whether it's early or late or somewhere in between, you will at least have some number of chances. I cannot get this corpse item to save my life. There we go. And normally, in Elden Ring, you get one chance per day or night cycle to fight them. I'm pretty glad that Kernifer has changed this. So now, Kernifer has made it so that time advances by 4 hours per death or per fast travel. So we get up to 2 chances per day and night cycle before we have to reset. It's not perfect. It isn't, there's not really like a custom option to make it so as time only passes when the player inputs something, but it does make it feel organic, where time still passes in the way the game intends. I can respect that. Because I'm sure when it's implemented, that's what it was meant to do. Every time you die, every time that you fast travel, time is supposed to move forward, move on without you. And having it set back to morning each time does simulate a feel of that. It's just annoying when you've got something on the opposite end of that spectrum. Personally, if I were Miyazaki, I would have just asked his team to make it so that when you die, if it's day, Or I'm sorry, it'll either advance to night or day in the game, depending on which is closer. And if it's already day or night, then it becomes either night or day. That gets a little confusing if you keep... Well, hi there. I see you staring over at us. I thought it was up here where the Deathrite bird was. Maybe it's on another one of these ruin perches. Let's go check those out. I know it's supposed to be here. I didn't find a Deathrite bird for a very long time when I was first playing the game. I think the first time I found one was in Liurnia, and it happened to be nighttime, and I just so happened to bump into it. Ow. Oh, I thought it was going to chop me over again. Yeah, that hurts. I almost feel like the better option is to fight them on land. Yeah, he has a harder time dealing with this. You just gotta be careful about the horse choppers. Oh, come on then. Oh, unfortunately, once on foot, it's quite a bit more difficult to deal with them. I believe it's a 4-hit combo when they're enraged like that. Well, bingo. Flask for my trouble definitely wasn't worth it. Definitely wasn't worth it. Oh well. Not much to do. We're gonna get off our horse now. Man, you guys annoy me a lot. And I definitely don't like missing with my regenerators. He kind of reminds me of... Is it Creighton? I think the name's Creighton. These guys remind me of fighting against big brutes like that. Where, like, they have a lot of hyper armor. And so you can't really attack them once they start... Like, and there we go. This was the horse chopper I was talking about. The dismounter. Excuse me. This curved greatsword, wielded by the brawny sellswords of Kaiden, combines the blade of a scimitar with the heft of a hatchet. A difficult-to-handle weapon that demands much of the wielder's strength and dexterity, but with practice and ability, it could serve as a versatile weapon even on horseback. Yeah. And I believe one of the wolves is what's preventing us from getting a flask for that kill. Let's find out. Come on, Wolfie. Show me what you got. Or, I could be perfectly dead wrong. Let's just drink up and not take risks, shall we? Not undue risks, anyway. You gonna enrage or not? Oh yeah, these guys are really dangerous up close. I do not... I mean, I can take them or leave them in a fight, I guess. They're not that hard. They're just not easy either. Their weapons hurt. A lot. What do we get as our reward for dealing with the BS? The cookbook. And another fight, of course. That was really close. That could have been... Yeah, that could be worse. I think we're going to get just enough... No, we're just short. Yeah, need a flask now. Missed with the regenerator. Thank you for yelling at me. Not worth the trouble. I mean, they did give a good chunk of souls, though. I think we went from 5,900 to 700? 700? 7,000. Just not insignificant. Enemies, I think, drop more runes, generally speaking, in Elden Ring Reforged than they do in vanilla Elden Ring, where it really wasn't worth your time to fight them. The bosses drop a little less runes now to compensate for this change. I don't mind it so much. I mean, it's nice for bosses to drop like 280,000 runes on a kill, but honestly, I would rather have a more well-rounded experience rather than just beelining it for the boss and suffering through and grinding for no reason at all. Am I... Hold on, I gotta look this up. I want to make sure I'm not missing what should be an easy-to-find boss. This might cause me to drop some frames, so I do apologize in advance. I have a special map that I like to pull up when I start getting confused about boss locations. Ah, I definitely was in the wrong ballpark. It is definitely past Gatefront and not before it. Ah, lemon ginger tea. Good stuff. So I'll be right back. Give me just a moment. My apologies about that. Apparently the dropped frames were because things were being moved and unplugged. Not a big deal. Stuff happens. Just gotta learn how to bounce from it. That's all you can do. Yeah, so up here is where the Deathrite Bird, or the Death Bird is. Deathrite Birds are a little bit later. So instead what we're going to do is come back over to this rest site, and we are going to reset it back to nighttime. I think we're ready to take on the nighttime boss. The second of 3 nighttime types of nighttime bosses is the Night Cavalry. We bumped into them earlier, but now's a good time to talk about them. The Night Cavalry has 2 different subtypes. The first subtype is the Glaive Wielders, and the second type are the Flail Users. The ones that wield glaives have long sweeping attacks that have a lot of range. The ones that use flails, on the other hand, have a lot of bleed damage. Those flails bleed if they strike you enough times with it. It's not good. If there's any one of the 2 that you have to take a hit for, I don't recommend you take hits from the ones that use flails. You would much rather have the glaive user hit you, because at least then you don't have hemorrhaging to worry about. I say bleed, but the game's status effect is The official name for it is hemorrhaging. I've seen both used interchangeably, though, and I'll probably refer to it as bleeding rather than hemorrhage. Even if hemorrhage does make thematically more sense, because it's not bleeding over time, it's sudden blood loss, which is what hemorrhaging more or less is. And we are currently in the morning. We are not in the evening. We need to fix that. Let's do that. So, how's everyone doing so far? People having a good time? People enjoying the sounds at work? Or cleaning? Or whatever you're doing, really? I hope so. I hope you get some use out of turning the stream on. And for those who've watched, or are watching, or are listening, I thank you. A lot. It means a lot to me. Especially given how long it's been since I've consistently streamed for any length of time. And I don't want to... And I still did not change the time. Happens all the time. Swear. I would lose my own head. I would forget... If my eyeballs had a switch, I'd forget to turn them on, and then complain that I'm not seeing anything. And I'd be feeling around all over my head, looking for that switch. And would never find it. I'm bad about forgetting things. Alright, it's nighttime. The Knight's Cavalry is a fight that is meant to be fought on horseback. But I always have a hard time fighting on horseback against those, so I'm likely going to fight on foot. Much easier for me to deal with them on foot. I can time my dodges a lot better. I'm a lot better at anticipating their movement when I'm on foot. See, there it is. The glorious rat bastard. I'm not gonna let you three consume my resources just haphazardly. Please do not come over into the open field. Stay on the bridge. Alright, we're gonna go back and across. Don't think they dropped any items, so we're gonna make sure the other side of the bridge is clear, and then we should be good to fight. The shield users, or I'm sorry, the great shielded spear users can be difficult to work with in a fight. Show me what you have then, Spearman. Oh, and these guys have no problem waiting and doing a guard counter from guarding your attacks. All right, let's do this. Halberd, I'm sorry, did I say glaive? I meant halberd. Halberd users have a lot of reach with their attacks. If you want to bait out an attack, you should be on the cavalry's right-hand side. If you're trying to get them to move around rapidly, then you should be on their left-hand side. It can be hard to do. They tend to have less favorable space management or spacing tools for their left-hand side. And I have already run out of FP. Let's fix that. Or, you know, not fix it. Casting at them is going to be kind of difficult. See that? Much slower swings on that left-hand side. If you're a melee combatant, stick on that side. Are you gonna fall off that bridge? Probably not. I swore I pressed, but maybe I was just freaking out and never did. Okay, roll through. You kind of want to manage your time spent reducing horse HP or reducing the boss's HP. You don't really want to be reducing horse HP unless you can also reduce boss HP. You'll never get the boss down if you're constantly worrying about horse HP. Because with the Knight Cavalry, they will summon that horse over and over and over again. Not really worth it for you. Really? Oh, I rolled into the backward portion of the swing. That makes sense. That was always going to whiff. Oh, I'm dead. I'm very dead. I think I get another chance. Also, we need to wipe out that... Yeah, they're gonna push... They're gonna pull a convoy wagon through there. I can't tell if they were heading north or south, though. I didn't get a good look at the compass. Alright, nighttime. I think we get 1 or 2 more cracks at that. And then there are gonna be problems. But the nighttime bosses are not easy. At all, at all. There's a reason why many people go through the game without ever fighting it. Many people? Some people. A little tip when you're speaking. Like, if you're ever speaking in an academic arena, never, ever, ever, unless you can point to a statistic that confirms it, use some, few, many, all, none, vague counting words. It's nice for, like, casual conversation, I guess, where you're not really trying to prove or disprove something. But if you're ever trying to prove or disprove something to someone, the quickest way you could start losing is by using some, few, many, all, none, sometimes, etc., etc. Like, absolutes are a good way to lose a conversation. You pretty much have to have the stats to back you up. And nice. Really? That lingering hitbox got a hold of me? I should just drink, get my runes, and die. That was a bad start. Where did my runes run off to? Don't know. I would use my horse to run away from this sort of fight. I guess I must have picked them up. And I just was absent-mindedly talking again. There's no reason for us to stick. The start is too bad. Might as well run away. And we can reset it back to proper nighttime again. Alright. Past time, back to nighttime. Don't worry, there's not like a day, month, year cycle. Oh, that'd be brutal. Things being locked by what time of the month, or how many days it's been since you've last passed the time, that would have been that would have been too much to deal with all at once. I don't know if I would have been able to stomach the day-night cycle on that much difficulty, or that many clunky time mechanics. It's Dark Souls. It's Elden Ring, not Pokemon. If I want complicated day-night cycle mechanics, I will head over to Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon for that experience. And I am quite literally whiffing on a basic spell. Awesome. And bad. Very bad. I'm glad you took that hit for me. I'm not sure I would have been able to continue taking hits, and I kind of also need to manage my stamina. Rough. Yeah, that could have been worse. I'll restore your HP in a hot second, Torrent. You know, I'm not sure you guys are supposed to be on the same side. Oh, that was bad. That could have been really bad. Okay. Still kind of a bad start. It's not the worst start. It could be worse. Okay, full FP. And a complete whiff. Great. Good. Love it. Awesome. More whiffing. Why do I roll? I'm not paying any attention. My brain is not firing on all cylinders like it should. Oh, and they can, like, reposition like that 3 or 4 different times. Really? That was still embedded in the ground. What the heck happened there? Oh, I shouldn't have been attacking there. I got body checked by the horse. I mean, the Knight Cavalry caused the horse to body check me. And there's a stake here. I'm not sure I want to be near that stake. No, I do want to be near that stake. Good. Not really much more I can say about this. Just stay out of the cavalry's way. Try not to get struck. Watch out for lingering hitboxes on, or lingering damage hitboxes on that halberd, and go from there. I've pretty much shown off everything there is to see about this fight. Unless Carnifer has changed the Phase 2 in some way, shape, or form. So now I'm just going to kind of concentrate. If you guys have questions, I'll answer them. And I nearly rode right into that. Yeah, if you guys have questions, I'll answer them. Otherwise, I'm just going to focus. Great commentary, I know. But what can I say? I have a timer going on for just such a reason. You almost have to wait for him to stop writing anywhere, like this. Oh, that could have been really bad. Oh, and he stopped the charge midway through. Oh, you sneaky. That was really close. I'm kind of having to constantly recharge my FP mid-fight, and that could have been really nasty. I need certain... There are things that would make this fight much easier. One of them would be a status of some kind. Poison is the one of my choice. And I did not space that correctly. Yeah, usually the status I like to apply in these fights is poison. Bleeds the boss out very slowly. Or I'm sorry, I should say it taxes the boss's health slowly. And then I focus on dodging, but we're kind of wanting to take him out now rather than later. So we can't... I don't want to wait for poison, which might be a little bit. That could have been really bad. Sure, if you want to do that, go ahead. Or you could constantly outrange me. Yeah, welcome to early game, boys and girls. Early game is rough. Because you don't really have the... Like, you have tools, but they don't feel like tools until later. When you've got the stats to back them up. Really? You went for a double on that? That was just bad timing on my part. I hear rustling behind me, so I kind of want to be really careful. If it's a bug or something, I'd like to respond to it. It's just the boss fight ain't making it easy. That was bad timing on the dodge. This arc does have longer distance, but it's not so long that I can... Oh, nice. I feel like this is going to be a 20-minute fight. So, buckle yourselves up, get comfortable. That momentary distraction. Oh, I know it's causing me to hear that. That's the plastic. I put in a new light fixture today. Like I said, I made my room brighter. That's what I meant. And this 6-foot tall lamp that I have came with a lot of plastic. I mean, a bunch of plastic. And it ruffling due to all the fans I have running in my room, well, a grand total of 2 anyway, means that I'm hearing things that aren't there, and I'm attributing them to bugs when in fact it's the plastic. All right, I'm not gonna waste your time on this. I gave it 2 to 3 really good, solid attempts. We just don't have the level of power we need to successfully take on the boss. So I'm going to shift it back to morning and keep moving. I thought we might have been ready, but this was before all of the spell adjustments, all the spell damage adjustments were made. So I should probably be treating this a little more like vanilla Elden Ring, where I don't fight nighttime bosses until I've got all the sufficient tools I need to do it, which isn't easy. I like accomplishing things before I'm supposed to, but sometimes it's just not in the cards. I hear something off in the... Oh, okay, never mind. I swear it must be the plastic. Like plastic wrap, not hard plastic, sheet plastic. See, let's go grab our runes. Let's keep marching onward. We might as well take a look at some sites at the river, and then I think we're going to make our way toward the Weeping Peninsula and take care of everything here. The Weeping Peninsula will give us some more options. Oh, I thought leaping over them would have been smart. I'm afraid not. I kind of just have to pick a side they're not swinging on. I hate that poor Torrent has taken a beating for this, but what else am I supposed to do? Kind of just have to press on. They're very good horseback warriors, by the way. See how fast their swings are? Only that one had any noticeable lag to it. Or like a swing time delay. Alrighty then. Wonderful. No flask either. I wonder if, because of the way the FP is regenerated, so like with such prolific means to regenerate FP, if the cerulean flasks are even required. Like, yeah, I've already discussed cases where it might be required, but at the same time, it just feels different. Like the play style feels changed considerably so. In a way I can't quite describe. Well, I have described it, but I can't quite place my finger on how it breaks the convention of the way you fight in Elden Ring. The rhythm is completely shifted. In a good way. I'll get used to it. Don't you think about running away. Unfortunately, these guys that are carrying their cart of goods, the trolls are carrying the cart of goods. I'm not going to take those goods yet. We need to come behind the trolls and deal with the caravan in the way. Ow. Horse kicking on command. Awesome. Elden Ring is also just a very different game overall. I was discussing this on the Elden Ring Reforged Discord in the media channel before I started posting stream adverts there. Thank you again for your permission to do this, Kernifer. One of the things I said was that Elden Ring is a different beast. You don't dictate the terms of a fight in Elden Ring. The bosses do this. It doesn't matter if you're fighting with spirits, or they're doing a no-hit run, or anything like that. In Elden Ring and in Elden Ring Reforged, the bosses dictate the terms of the fight. It's not Dark Souls anymore, where sometimes your build let you dictate the terms, and sometimes the boss dictated the terms to you. The bosses just do it all the time now, which is fine. It's a different experience. And Sekiro was more or less the same way, but the way that the system worked in Sekiro is you could use the boss's momentum against them. Based on the system of, like, parry, deflects, parries, and all that other stuff. Your defense was literally your offense in some cases. Whereas here, because of the way that the Dark Souls-esque combat kind of works, that doesn't apply. You don't generate momentum off the momentum of the boss. You need to create your own momentum, and that means waiting for the boss to be finished. It's not, In Sekiro, you don't wait for the boss to be done. The boss tells you when you need to get started. Whereas here, the boss, I guess, still kind of does that, but in a less organic way. There's something that's causing me to still be in combat, and I don't know what that is. Let's figure out where that caravan has gone. Over here. With horrible screen tearing. Even your sorcerers are no match for us. I think the only thing we have to worry about now are the trolls. And for this, we're going to kind of cleave them at the same time. And then we're going to switch and regenerate our FP. One of these will die before the other, but not by that much. Nice. Oh, I guess I say that much, but oh, okay. I'm used to only the last one aggroing, but I guess after they've been staggered, they'll aggro normally. Take your medicine, troll. Sorry, I'm checking to see if my door is open. My parents have to have some way of letting me know if they need me for something. I'm trying to make sure they don't speak into the mic. I can't control that 100% of the time, but um, I know people don't generally like it when strangers or others appear on stream when they're not supposed to. So I'm trying to mitigate that. It's not perfect, but it's a work in progress. We'll all get better at the routine eventually. Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm in an MMO now, where why aren't you bothering to fight back? Good grief. Your other troll friend was fighting me back. Whatever, I guess. Let's take the spoils. And our reward is a great axe. Great. I never axed for an axe, but I guess I'll take it. Could be. I'm sorry. That my attempt at a joke was bad, and I should feel bad for it, and I do. I feel horrible. Well, I think a great way to conclude today's episode is to go back over to Sorceress Cellen and pick up some new spells. Hopefully spells we can cast, but at least we should be picking up some spells. Our arsenal only gets better when we use it. And I don't need this torch. Does the torch adds 1.5 pounds. So the less I'm carrying, the better off we'll be. This would be a great time for some fire arrows. And now that we have magic, these plants are even easier to deal with. No more accidentally getting poisoned. All we have to do is watch out for the area attacks, and we're fine. Actually, what I'll probably do is put this bow over here. That way I could switch to it when I need to. I literally mapped this, and yet I'm still making mapping mistakes. Wow, that fire is working wonders. This is literally what Stone Arc is for. Wow, is that like pool of fire literally stopping? That pool of fire is literally stopping that flower from doing anything. That's awesome. And our reward was some consumables, basically. Hard runes and some cured meat. Great. Cool. Is there something on the top of this? I forget if there is something on top of one of these rock walls. I think there is, and I'm just forgetting what it is. But that's why we have Torrent. One of the nice things about Torrent is we can definitely platform now. Nice. Excellent. Things are so much better now that our build is starting to take shape. We won't always be casting sorceries, by the way. If you ever want to know any more about the build that we're going for, you can type Mark word, and I'm taking a triple trifecta: int, faith, and arcane. Intelligence, faith, and arcane. Those three stats. All of those stats cast spells in some form, and I want at least 30 to 40 in each one. Because there are a lot of fun spells that start showing up at around that point. We're going to attempt to get this item from the other side. I think that's how you're meant to get to it. You're meant to see this item and wonder how exactly are we supposed to get to it. And I think we have to make a really kind of tricky jump right here. You say tricky? It's not so much tricky, it's just you don't have a lot of room for error. If we didn't make that jump, we would have died for it. Or taken some damage for it. Alright, and we'll get rid of this and replace it with... I'm sorry. We will now put our club back on. I will get some strength eventually. That way we can use other weapons. So we're not just stuck into the same caster weapons all the time. But that's a really bottom of the barrel priority. I would never level a point of strength before we're ready. Well, let's see what you have. I think there are 4 spells.
First things first. You are a tadpole when it comes to magic. Infantile. Without the legs to walk. So, to become a sorcerer, first, you must face your ignorance. Now, shall we start learning?
Of course. Could have done without the insult, but could be worse. This is probably the spell we really, really want. Glintstone Stars. Fires 3 shooting stars that pursue foes. We have just enough int to use this. One of the Glintstone sorceries of the Academy of Rhea Lucaria. Fires 3 magic shooting stars that pursue the target. This sorcery can be cast while in motion. Charging enhances potency. Some spells can be charged. You just hold down the casting button, normally right or left bumper, and it'll have either faster projectile speed, more damage, either cheaper or more expensive costs, etc., etc. Charging spells is situational. You don't always want to do it. Sometimes you just want very quick magic. A sorcery of the Olivinus Conspectus, which attracts sorcerers from Celia, Town of Sorcery. We'll learn more about that later. This we aren't going to be able to get until later. Scholar's Armament and Scholar's Shield would be more useful if we were going to be using weapons a bunch. Weapons are secondary with this, so I kind of want to hold off on buying these. So let's talk to you a bit more, shall we?
Our art draws upon the powers embedded in Glimstone. But what is the nature of such power? Glimstone is the amber of the cosmos. Golden amber contains the remnants of ancient life and houses its vitality, while Glimstone contains residual life, and thus the vitality of the stars. It should not be forgotten that Glimstone sorcery is the study of the stars and the life therein, a fact lost on most sorcerers these days.
Profound wisdom. Tells you a bit more about why sorcerers might want to study their craft. Just a little. At least I hope it provides some insight. Let's level up. Yeah, we have just enough for a single level. That point is going in intelligence. And we will memorize this spell. Can't cast Crystal Burst yet. We need a little more time before we do. But we're getting quite a nice arsenal. We have something for those who check rolls. We have something for those who check rolls and for large groups. And then we have a single target FP generator. It's not a great spell, but it is a spell. It's better than nothing for single target. This is also a single target spell, but it has it's better served when you have something that dodges and strafes a lot. It's not the best for single target, but it is usable. In fact, I'll kind of show it off before we call it a stream, call it for the day. But this is what it looks like uncharged. And let's, to get a better sense of its range, let's stand back here. That felt like about half the room. This is much better than, say, the Glintstone Pebble, which went maybe about... I'm sorry, the Glintstone Stars felt closer to the length of the room, whereas the Glintstone Pebble was about half that distance. And then this is what the charged spell looks like. About the same distance, but more damage and thicker bolts. Those bolts, of course, are better for actually hitting something on the way as opposed to just catching it. Like catching whatever it is you're fighting. The smaller bolts are better for speed and for quick opponents, whereas the larger bolts are better for medium-sized opponents that don't move that fast but strafe a bunch. But all spells have their uses. Now let's see if we can find someone to host, shall we? So, on Twitch... the marathon's still going on. Why don't I turn you guys over there? I kind of don't want to really host anyone until I've built up rapport with them again. There are specific people that I will host when I get the opportunity. Or, I'll take hosting requests for the time being. But I definitely don't want to just host willy-nilly. It's disingenuous to do it that way. I'd rather build up that rapport again. But Bob Ross, if you guys like to relax, you guys will love Bob Ross. Not really much more to say than that, other than it's an art stream about an old artist named Robert Ross. He lived a glorious life. He retired from the military to paint. And it's just I think it's the Ross Institute. Yeah, I think it's the Ross Institute that I think it's in Florida. They do lessons and expos every year for art. They have lots of instructors. So if you ever wanted to learn how to paint, I highly recommend watching Bob Ross and checking out the Ross Institute in Florida. I've been thinking about giving my stepmother some... would it be a ticket? I think it's a ticket. There's a ticket or a plan to spend a week over at the Ross Institute and learn how to paint. And I think room and board isn't covered, so I'd have to come up with a comprehensive package. But I definitely think it would be worth doing. My stepmother loves to paint. We've talked entirely too much about things no one cares about. So, I'm going to turn you guys over to Bob Ross now. I'm CoinStamp180, otherwise known as Swirling Vortex 09 on YouTube, and this has been another Elden Ring Reforged stream. Our next stream is on Wednesday, and it will be more of this. And with that, I will catch you guys later. Stay safe out there, and take care.